We're summoning Daedric companions and delving into dungeons. That's right, it's the Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of the Second Era by Chip Theory Games. In this campaign-based co-op, up to 4 players take the role of adventurers, exploring the world of Tamriel and undertaking quests from the many guilds and factions of the land. The game features a number of provinces familiar to fans of the Elder Scrolls games and comes with extensive gazetteers which feature towns, encounters, quests, and more. The rule set for Elder Scrolls is pretty big. We're covering the core concepts and main mechanics today, but for all the fun intricacies, you're gonna need to delve into the elaborate and well-structured rulebook. Setup begins with province selection. Each province in the game comes with an overland map and gazetteer. For your first game of your first campaign, use Black Marsh as your first province. Set the overland map near the center of your play area, along with the gazetteer nearby. Set the dice storage tray and chip storage tray nearby as well. Take the black enemy chips and separate them by level, 1 and 5 and 10 and 20. Chips without a 2-letter province should be placed in their labeled bags. Take the enemy chips for the chosen province, Black Marsh chips are labeled BM in our case, and place them in their respective bags as well. Place all other tokens with province designations back in their trays. Set up the card tray by placing all skill line reference sheets in the back row, the side quest deck shuffled, 2 overland decks, Peaceful and Conflict. To build these 2 decks, take the 10 general cards with a GE designation of each type and separately shuffle them. Remove 4 at random from each, returning the rest to the box. Into each pile, shuffle the 8 cards of each type with the province designation, again BM in our case. Set them in the second row of the tray. And 2 item decks, common and legendary. Shuffle each of these real good. And finally the Delve deck. Take the general Delve cards marked GE and the province cards BM and shuffle them together. If the card library has a province labeled card with SP ahead of it, that's a special card and shouldn't be placed in the Delve deck but should be available nearby. Remove the large clash tile and entrance tile from the rest of the neoprene map tiles. Shuffle them separately and stack them nearby, or do your best with neoprene mats. Give one player the campaign journal and set the XP and day dials on the magnetic stand. For your first game, set the XP marker to 2. Unless you're playing the tutorial jailbreak encounter, then set it just to 1. Leave the day dial unset for now. Select a game difficulty, either Apprentice, Adept, or Expert. This won't affect setup, but instructions for the differences are outlined on page 13 of the rules. Players then set up their adventurers following the instructions on page 19, or by using the jailbreak introduction encounter. We'll go over the adventurer specifics in a sec. Finally, players select a quest to play, all found in the gazetteer. First, players shuffle the 9-card guild deck and reveal 3 cards, choosing 1 to keep. Each card has a guild, a quest, and a special town action which can be used at that guild kiosk. Quests have a name, complexity level, description, special setup instructions which will follow. This includes a starting location for our party token, which we'll place on the overland map. Quest objectives and other gameplay information. It also contains an XP reward and instructions upon completion. Before we jump into gameplay, let's glance at some aspects of an adventurer. Each player takes an adventurer mat, then selects a race, from Argonian to Wood Elf. The race reference sheet comes with 2 copies of each type, allowing up to 2 players per race. Set a chip matching the race on the sheet. Each sheet has 1 racial ability and starting stats, which come in 3 main categories: health, stamina, and magicka. These tokens can be placed in any of the circular slots, but for your first game, we recommend that you place them along the left side. Placement is important because any stats or skills placed opposite one another will limit each other's growth as your game progresses. The health token has a numerical value. Place the token with that value in the slot. For stamina and magicka, set square stat tokens equal to the value in the row to the right. Take a combat skill token and place it in a row as well, then add the number of combat skill dice shown on the race sheet to that row's square slots. Set a peg in the cooldown track equal to the adventurer's stat. Adventurers also begin the campaign with a starting skill of their choice. For instance, two-handed, which utilizes the adventurer's combat prowess with two-handed weapons. Let's look at a skill line. Most skill lines have a name and core stat, either magicka or stamina, a battle form, which limits the dice that can be rolled together and the range of their attack, a number of levels and abilities that come with them. Each has a dice icon and a number of pips, which is the number of times that face appears on a die, and a constellation type, either mage, thief, or warrior. Combat is a special skill line, which is the adventurer's innate fighting ability. It only has one type of skill die and can be used in any battle form except magicka. Adventurers also have a class of their choosing. Classes provide special abilities which are activated by spending a resource known as tenacity. They can flip the class sheet to its master side, which has improved and sometimes a few extra abilities. Okay, let's look at game flow. Each game session is played over a number of rounds, each known as a day. Each day is divided into 5 phases. The new day phase, where the day timer is moved one spot. Any quests not finished by day 13 are failed, so get to adventuring. Overland phase, where the party moves across the overland map, checking for any encounters or events. The overland map is divided into hexes with various terrain features and icons. The encounter phase, where players resolve an encounter, which comes in 3 types: quest encounters, town encounters, and overland encounters. Quest encounters are very specific to your current quest, and how they trigger is outlined in the Gazetteer or on an active side quest card. Town encounters occur when a party ends their movement in a town and use the entry in the Gazetteer to resolve its effects and interactions. These include visiting shops to buy items, visiting trainers to learn new skills, and earning new side quests. Overland encounters are triggered when the party ends their movement in a hex with a landmark, either peaceful, resolving a card from the peaceful overland deck, conflict from the conflict overland deck, or unstable, resolved with the roll of the unstable die. In any case, all overland encounters can be passed or failed. Follow the narrative text on the story side of the overland card and determine the outcome by resolving the choices side. Each encounter can have one of 2 outcomes: peaceful or battle. Battles come in 3 modes: clashes, delves, and dungeons. More on those shortly. Reward phase. This is where players gain sweet loot, rewards, and experience points from the encounter if they succeeded. Experience points can be used to gain advancements for the character, including improving skill lines and increasing attributes. And the end of day phase, where players first activate the overland effect from the overland map, and then the party may rest and trade items. Let's look at battle setups, specifically in clashes and delves. At the beginning of either type, players set up the battle map according to the card, then place cash chips and enemies according to the setup diagram. Enemy numbers are limited to the enemy pool, which is calculated by multiplying the party's size by the value of the XP counter. For instance, this party of 3 adventurers with an XP total of 7 so far would have an enemy pool of 21. Drawing the highest numbers possible will draw a level 20 and a level 1 enemy. Enemy chips have a name and level, either 1, 5, 10, or 20, a type and possibly a province code. Many don't have a code, which means they're used in all games. A health value, which is the number of HP chips placed under their enemy chip. A range value, which is the number of hexes away their target must be to engage them in battle. A combat skill value, the number of enemy combat dice they roll to attack. Defense, which mitigates incoming normal damage, a target priority icon, which determines who they attack in battle, and a list of their skills. Let's look at battle. Battles are divided into rounds, each split into 5 steps. Start of round, adventurer turns, companion turns, enemy turns, and end of round. First up, in the start of round, the party leader sets the round counter to 1 using a d6 and increases it by 1 on future rounds. Starting on round 6, players will gain an over-fatigue die to their cooldown track. Combat is tiring. Then in the adventurer's turn, they choose 1 adventurer to go first, then each resolve a turn in clockwise order. After resolving any start of turn effects, the active player removes a number of dice from their cooldown track equal to their cooldown stat and return them to their mat, where they are now usable once again. Then players take actions, including move, engage, and class abilities. When moving, a player may move up to their stamina value in hexes on the battle map. When the adventurer engages, the active player chooses a battle form and may now roll matching dice of that battle form against that target, provided they are in range. Each battle form has different range applications and limit which skill dice can be used. When using a class ability, an adventurer can use each once per turn. Class abilities cost tenacity, which comes from various effects, including this die face, which appears on many skill dice. During their turn, a player may take a fatigue die to take an extra engage action on this turn. When rolling skills on their turn, a player rolls dice up to their respective core stat value and uses the results to apply damage or effects on enemies or allies. After resolving, those dice move depending on the skill ability used. Results with an I are instant and go to the cooldown track. Ds are resolved and removed or drained from the mat for the rest of combat. As are moved to an active slot at the top of the adventurer's mat where they will provide an additional effect. Cs immediately go to the cooldown track with their result side face up. These will trigger later based on their effect, provided they are still in the cooldown track. And S's, which are special and define their own path. Refer to the skill sheets for specifics. If the party has companion units, each companion takes a turn. Companions have a base movement of 2 and resolve their attacks similar to enemies. On enemy turns, each enemy takes a turn in order of level. Ties are broken by the party's choosing, where one player rolls the applicable enemy combat skill dice against their prioritized target. Resolve the results, including any abilities like Maim, Daze, or even Enfeeble. Yikes! Once all enemies have had a turn, play moves to the end of round where players determine if they completed the encounter based on the battle objective, whether they need to keep fighting or if they can retreat. Battle objectives include Conquer, defeat all enemies, Specials, which varies, and Survey and Uncover, which are specific to delves. When fulfilling either, the adventurers attempt to gain a number of sky shards, usually 3, which can be found on the delve cards themselves. Traversing onto those delve spaces provide the party with those sky shards. Once they have 3, they must successfully retreat. Speaking of delves, which are found on the back of overland cards, they represent adventurers navigating the unexplored nooks and caverns of Tamriel. Players begin on the entrance tile, and when they move into a connection hex labeled with this icon, they draw the top card of the delve deck and place the appropriately sized tile from the pile, attach it to their current space. Tiles must be placed adjacent to the symbol that revealed them. Delve cards have a name, a number of sky shards, a tile size to be placed, enemies, populated on the mat based on the party size but not exceeding the party's enemy pool, place them as far away from the players as possible, cache locations, a number of effects including instant effects and traps, and possibly a sky shard effect, which occurs when an adventurer gains the listed number of shards. And that's delves. The third battle type is dungeon, and each region has its own dungeon, using the clash tile and delves to build it out. Listings in the Gazetteer provide the rules for that particular dungeon. Once players complete or fail their quest for the session, the game is over, for now. Players may of course carry over their adventurers to the next session in the province using the handy trays. All the component trays, stands, and storage boxes come with the core set of the game. And that's the very basics of The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. There's a whole lot more in terms of skills, visiting towns, completing quests, both standard and side quests, companions, items, and so much more. If you're interested in diving deep into Tamriel, it's for sale at your friendly local game store. Thanks again to Chip Theory Games for sponsoring this video. I'm Becca Scott. This is Good Time Society, and you be sure and give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and come on back for more great games and good times. Bye.